We're back here on the Outdoor Icon Show. Denny Malloy and Rob Palowitz with special guest Blake Shelton, country music entertainer, superstar, and outdoor icon. He's online with us. Blake, thanks for being here today.
Hey, man, thank you guys for having me.
No way, it's great having you.
Now, Blake, we talked a little bit about your influences. We talked a little bit about how you got where you are in the music and with your hunting passion. Who are some of your hunting buddies? Who are some of the guys now when you're on the road? You know, you're a big star, big entertainer now. Some of the other guys that our listeners could relate to that you deal with that you like to share and swap hunting stories with.
Hey, man, I tell you, I've got some really cool moments from what you're talking about. When you said that, all these images popped into my mind of being at an award show or being somewhere in the industry, and you know, I can remember one time, this would have been the CMAs about 2 years ago. I was sitting there in one of the rows there at the Grand Ole Opry House and felt a tap on my shoulder. You know, this is right in the middle of somebody getting, male vocalist of the year or something, you know. And I felt the tap on my shoulder, and I looked back, and it was Gary LaVaux from Rascal Flatts, and he says, because the CMAs are always, you know, right in the middle of November, and he leans up and he says, "Hey, man, you see anything?" Because we both knew that we had been hunting that evening, you know, just cut it in just enough time to get there for the award show. You know, you have a handful of buddies out there that you check in with, and it's almost probably like listening to y'all's radio show. You know, if I know that Andy Griggs, if I'm out on the road doing a show and Andy Griggs happens to be back home, I know he's hunting, and so as soon as I get off stage, I call him and say, "Man, what'd you see?"
Yeah.
You know, we all check in with each other because we have to almost live our lives through each other when we're out here. You know, the worst thing about music, the worst time to be in this industry is during deer season if you're a hunter, because you're screwed out here. You know, you can't go. So if your buddies are out there and they feel for you that you're out on the road and they're sitting in a deer stand, you know, sometimes they call and rub it in. And, you know, I've had those calls from Craig Morgan. Craig Morgan is the worst in the world. He won't call you and say, "Man, I didn't see nothing." You'll never get that call from Craig. You always get the call from Craig that says, "Man, I shot a 145 and let 3 more go. You know, you should have been here." And knowing good and well I couldn't have been there, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he's the one that really rubs it in on you.
Yeah, that's weird you said that. I hunted with Red Akins this spring for turkey season, and we were driving back to his concert in Pittsburgh, and the phone rings, and it was Daryl Singletary calling him to rub in that he shot a big gobbler that morning. So that's kind of funny that you said that. And it's same things. You know, we all watch Michael Waddell on TV, and we see Lee and Tiffany on TV, and see what they're doing and who they're hunting with. And it's kind of neat when you're in that inner circle there of hearing who's got what and who's going where and who's doing what. It just kind of adds all to it.
Man, it does. That's you know, it's almost like being around a camp and not actually being there. It's the camaraderie. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's the pat on the back, and it's trying to picture what their situation was as they tell it to you. You know, one of my favorite things about watching a hunting show, it's just because you get so pumped up. You know, these people that are on there are so excited that you watch the entire hunting show, every moment of it, and then you see them, you know, shoot the animal, and then they tell you everything that just happened.
Right.
And you're like, "I just saw that." You don't have to but you're so excited, you got to talk about it. You got to relive it in your mind, and the only way to do that is to tell somebody. So, you know, that's part of it to me.
That's what makes the hunters a unique fraternity. That
sure.
No matter if you're a #1 country singer on the top of the charts, or you're the guy that's bagging groceries at the grocery store, we can all relate to our hunting experiences.
Yep, definitely a common bond there.
It's definitely glue that keeps us all together as humans. Blake, we got a little game we're going to play here with you. It's called 10 Questions with Blake Shelton.
Okay.
And you'll see how the game goes as we go, and just whatever comes off the top of your head as I read the question off to you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go with 10 questions with Blake Shelton. Number 1, gun or bow?
Oh. Bow.
Bow?
Because that's what's coming up next.
Yeah.
All right, bow or guitar?
Oh, man.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I you know, right now, because it's been so long, it's got to be bow.
All right.
Whoa.
Okay, inland lake or deep sea fishing?
I'm not much getting away out there on the sea. I might say lake.
Okay. How about
Very
deer
good.
or turkey?
Oh, deer every time.
All right. Three most famous.
Turkey hunting is just something to do when it's not deer season to me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the off season of deer hunting,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Okay, Blake, the three most famous names in your cell phone.
And my cell phone, wow.
Besides Outdoor Icon.
Well, that's a no-brainer there. Oh, wow. I guess the most famous would be, Michael Waddell's number's in there. I just talked to him a few hours ago, actually, because he called to rub it in. Actually, he's been in Montana whitetail hunting. He called and rubbed some stuff in on me. But Gary LeVaux is in there, and
The last one.
would be
Don't you have any siblings?
Tracy Bird. Tracy Bird's in there.
There you go. That's a good
There
one.
you go.
You know, we had Michael
counts.
Waddell on the show last month.
Yeah.
And we asked him the same question. He said Donald Trump. And we said, Donald Trump? And he said, no, I just wanted to drop a big name. So, all right, your favorite food?
Chicken fried steak with mashed potatoes and gravy.
All right.
Yeah.
Pickup truck or sports car?
Truck. That's. I hate y'all for even asking me that.
We'd
kind
hung
of
up
show
on
is
you if
this?
you had said anything else.
Yeah.
Your favorite pet?
Favorite pet?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just a good old dog, man. I've had, believe it or not, I've had raccoons for pets and turkeys and all kinds of birds, and it just comes back to just a good old loyal dog, man.
Have you ever had an old red? You ever had a coon dog?
Man, no, you know what I had close though was a couple of mountain curs, which are still those are my favorite dogs that I ever had, man.
Squirrel
One of these days
dogs.
I'm gonna get me a couple more.
Very good.
Mountain curs, huh? I never
Your
heard of that.
favorite city?
Oh wow, San Antonio.
San Antonio.
And your least favorite city?
Oh, that's easy. That's Los Angeles every time.
All right. Blake Shelton's dream job.
I'm doing it.
You're doing
There it
it?
is. He's
sir.
at it. And number, what, we on
And
number 10
Number 10, the big final question.
Drum roll.
CMT or the Outdoor Icon Show?
Oh wow! I mean, come on. The Outdoor Icon Show.
There you
All
go.
the way, right.
Okay, Blake Shelton. We got Blake Shelton, the country music entertainer, on the line. Now, Blake, we really appreciate having you here on the show this week. We wish you a great hunting season. You've got some great hunts coming up. You said you're heading off to New Mexico with Lee and Tiffany Lukoski. You got a Canadian whitetail hunt coming up. You're going to be in Texas, Kansas, Iowa, big mule deer hunt in Colorado. I mean, it sounds like you are you going to have any time to perform at all?
I hope not.
Sounds like you're taking a sabbatical.
Well, how often do you get out and do some hunting and fishing? You still do some bass fishing in those ponds you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, once I get this place that I'm buying in Oklahoma, we close here in about 2 weeks, and it's got several ponds on it, and man, I'm just going to tear them up. To be honest with you, I gotta make up for some lost time with pond fishing in Oklahoma. So we're gonna fill them up with fish and wait a couple of years and just go out there and
hit them
tear
hard.
them up.
Now, what typically, how do you like to fish for bass? Are you a topwater guy? Are you a soft plastic guy, or
that's
what?
Definitely the action, topwater fishing. But I still I love just throwing either a weightless worm out there or just a single bladed spinnerbait too.
Yeah.
Or that's a lot of fun running them across some old dead timber or something.
So you like that? You like the Senko then?
I'm sorry.
The
Rubber
Senko
worms
rubber
and-
worm.
Oh yeah, you know
Plastic.
what? I've been out of it so long that you know what? It's still I still remember the porcos and Dance's eel. The dancing eel, you know what I mean? Those
Yep.
are still new to me, so I don't know any of these new things that are out there. I'm sure that if you guys say it's good, though, it's good.
Yeah, the old cream worm. Remember the cream worm?
Absolutely. Salt crawls were the new thing when I got out of fishing.
Yeah.
Yep. Still hot. Now, Blake, your latest album is Blake Shelton's Barn and Grill. Every single song in here is a hit. When can we expect your next album to be out?
Oh man, it'll be I think February or March of next year. But we're going to put a new single out off of that album this October. So we'll finally have some new stuff out there and try to get back in the game.
What's your first single going to be called? Give us a little teaser.
Man, that's still up in the air right now between about 2 or 3 songs. I think the one that's got a good chance of being the first single is a thing called "I Don't Care," which is one of my favorite things that I've cut so far. What
is your favorite one out of the 3 albums you have? What's your favorite one to perform, or one that is most important to you?
Old Red is still the one I've never gotten tired of. Man, it's still a lot of fun.
And I guess the last question to wrap things up with Blake Shelton. Blake, who would you say, you deal with people in the outdoor industry, who would you say is your ultimate outdoor icon? Of these guys, we grew up on watching Jimmy Houston, an Oklahoma boy there, on TV, and, Babe Winkleman and the Al Lindners, and you see Bill Jordan and Michael Waddell and those guys. Who's your outdoor icon out there?
Man, for me, that is easy, and it doesn't even matter what he does for a living, but Bill Dance is one of the neatest people that I've been around, and I really think a lot of that guy, and he's just such a legend and did so much for the outdoor industry early on,
Right.
When there wasn't shows like that, he had one, he's just a really, really neat guy to me.
Have you ever had a chance to meet Bill Dance or fish with Bill yet?
Yeah, we've been fishing a couple of times, and I always give him crap because the first few times I met him was at one of those outdoor auction things. They were raising money for something, and I bought a fishing trip with him, and which was auctioned off. And then, of course, I got busy, and he got busy, and we never did it. And so the next year we were back at the same thing, and I got up on the stage and told everybody what a rip-off that fishing trip is, that Bill Dance never really does what he says he's going to do, and, and so he had to run up on stage, and it was at a golf course, and they had a lake out there, so he had brought a boat out and put his boat out on this little 3-foot deep lake out there, and we fished the next day so that everybody could see that he held up his end of the deal. So that's the kind of guy he is. He's a lot of fun, you guys.
Well, he's what I like about Bill too is that he's he's good with instruction. He really explains and shows you. That's what I always liked about his show. Is that how he was when you were fishing with him too?
You know what? All that happened when I went with him was he was getting on me the whole time for being too loud.
Oh, all right.
And he told me that even if I bought the trip next year, he was going to turn it down.
That's all right. Bill probably still has a Mel Tillis record in his record player at home.
I'm sure he does.
He's old school. Well, this is the Outdoor Icon Show with Denny Rod. We have Blake Shelton here on the line. Blake, we want to thank you again. Be safe in your travels. Have a great hunting season. Maybe we can touch base with you next year and see how everything panned out with all these big hunts you got coming up this fall.
I'd love it, man.
Yeah, we'd like to hear how you do,
Blake Shelton, his new album, Blake Shelton's Barn and Grill, is his latest album. If you don't have a copy of it, I'll tell you, all 3 of these, you put these together, you got a greatest hits album. We're just off of 3 albums, which is fantastic. He's still young in the industry. We got many, many years left to go with Blake Shelton. Blake, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.